But what is not legal is to target those outside of wartime, those who aren't carrying the weapons, those who are not combatants. And it's a moment when we need to be especially careful that those caught up in the war, caught up in the conflict, do not become the victims.
Fearing complete exclusion from society, thousands of rape victims of Kosovo War have lived in silence or even committed suicide, and only a few have spoken publicly about what they endured until this day. But 18 years later, a report by Amnesty International published in 2017 finally gives an inside look into the impunity for crimes under international law and gender-based violence that happened in Kosovo during the war. One of the survivors who broke the taboo about experiencing wartime sexual violence in Kosovo is Vasfija Kraniski-Gutman. But even when she inspired many with her public testimony, human rights organizations are warning that justice appears to remain beyond reach for Ms. Gutman and for many other survivors of wartime rape. Since according to the director of Humanitarian Law Center of Kosovo, Bekim Blakash, it is very difficult to prove sexual violence in court, especially when the crime was committed a long time ago, because the lack of forensic evidence and limited possibilities of finding any other evidence or eyewitnesses helps in a way that the perpetrators, even when accused, get acquitted. Adding that the judges didn't put the extra effort to seek possible evidence that would finally bring the rapist to justice, since they usually find that a reasonable suspicion is not enough to sentence the perpetrators. An example of this, in 2014, the Supreme Court acquitted 2 Serbian policemen, initially indicted for Vasfija's rape on all charges. Also, a report by Amnesty International stated that only a few of those held responsible for wartime rape in Kosovo, an estimated 20,000 rape victims, have since been prosecuted. In 2009, the International Criminal Tribunal for former Yugoslavia convicted 3 of the most senior Serbian political, police, and military officials of a joint criminal enterprise in war crimes and crimes against humanity in Kosovo, including crimes for sexual assault as a form of persecution and as a crime against humanity. A 4th senior official was convicted in 2014 of persecutions through sexual assaults as a crime against humanity. In Serbia, 2 trials for rape in Kosovo have been concluded at the Special War Crimes Chamber in Belgrade. However, all were brought against Kosovo Albanian former members of the Kosovo Liberation Army. One resulted in a conviction. In Kosovo, only 3 prosecutions for wartime rape have been completed. Each ended in an absolution after appeal, after the courts deemed that the evidence to identify and convict the alleged perpetrators was insufficient.
When justice failed me, I decided that I had to do something, at least be able to break stigma. And that's what I did. I went back in my country, and I was the very first woman to share my story in public without hiding my identity.